Hey everyone, it's the Wednesday evening edition of Weather for Weather Geeks here on August the 19th. Boy, what a sultry day today. Really felt like a blast furnace when you stepped outside this afternoon. We hit a high of 88 today, so it wasn't the hottest day of the summer or anything. But with highs in the upper 80s and dew points around 70 or so, the heat index value was between 90 and 95 for much of the afternoon. If you didn't like today, good news. It'll be the last day like this that we have for a little while anyway. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the current radar as I record this at about 10 after 7 because, of course, most of you will watch this well after. But some showers are pushing northeast. Nothing really to write home about here. We're not looking at much in the way of precipitation overnight. Of course, a lot of us could use some rain. These are the 60-day rainfall anomalies across the region. So this takes us back to roughly June the 20th, start of astronomical summer. June, of course, was a wet month, but since about the second week of July, it's been pretty darn dry. And when you look at Ohio and western Pennsylvania as a whole, some of the driest areas are roughly kind of south of I-80, and then also north of I-80 once you're over into Mercer County and up into northwest PA. There is a corridor from the Cleveland area down through Trumbull County and into kind of the southern half of Mercer County that hasn't been real super dry, but boy, once you're down towards Boardman, Salem, Lisbon, the Guilford Lake area, Hanoverton, places like that, it's been much drier than average since the roughly second week of July. Northwest Ohio's done fine. They've had above average precipitation going back over 60 days. But notice the east central and southeastern parts of Ohio have been very, very dry of late. Well, as far as adding rainfall to our totals, I think a lot of us will, but it'll be mostly tomorrow morning. Check out this system across the upper Midwest. This is a kind of a fall-like system. It's very wound up. We put on the pressure analysis here. This is what I want. Here's your isobars showing our low pressure area up here, strong low pressure for summer. Cool air wrapping in on the back side of this, and this air mass is, of course, coming our way for tomorrow, particularly during the second half of the day. But underneath that low, it's been no warmer than the 50s this afternoon in parts of northern Minnesota. Look at how chilly it is with the clouds and the precipitation. A real taste of fall up there. Elsewhere, of course, it's below average all the way down into parts of the plain states where they're just absolutely loving this. Now, of course, this is coming east. Tomorrow's going to start out muggy, but the dew points are going to drop as we go into the afternoon. Not only is the air cooler, but it's drier out here across the Midwest. And so our front's pretty easy to pick out. It's kind of right through here. It'll move through about midday tomorrow, and then the dew points will drop, and by this time tomorrow evening, you step out, you'll notice the change. It's going to be a very, very nice change. Well, let's talk about the chance for any precipitation with our front tomorrow morning. I think the most active period will, in fact, be the morning and midday tomorrow. As you get up and around, and if you're one of the school districts that has school tomorrow, your kids have school, you might run into a shower at the bus stop in the morning. Here's 8 o'clock in the morning. This isn't going to be much, and I doubt there's any thunder at 8 a.m., but there could certainly be a shower around as early as 7 or 8. By 10 o'clock, we're looking at a handful of showers around, maybe a thunderstorm as well. And then by noon, kind of the same idea. You're not seeing much here on the NAM. Here's the GFS. It's a coarser model, lower resolution, so all the green blobs are much bigger and lower res. But, the idea is there's going to be a scattering of showers and storms through about, I think, 2 p.m. tomorrow. Here's 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. The NAM has the front pushing east of I-79 at this point. Could be some heavy storms lining up along the ridges out in west central PA. But we're in the clear, I think, by 2:30 or so, and then the rest of the day should be great. We'll see that drier air filtering in. Notice the heavy storms in central PA tomorrow evening, while we will be high and dry with dropping temperatures as well. So a big change in the air mass coming by the end of the day tomorrow. For the rest of the week then, smooth sailing, because we go into the day on Friday. An area of high pressure at the surface will be across roughly Cincinnati, but upstairs in the atmosphere somewhat, there will be a trough of low pressure. Let me show you that here on the 500 millibar chart. There we go. Some troughiness going on here. That's not what I wanted. I wanted this. So with this kind of trough lingering in the Great Lakes on Friday, I think there will be some clouds trying to mix in with the sun, but it's still going to be a very nice day. underneath some sunshine. Now, as we head into the weekend, notice that trough is starting to lift out, excuse me, and with high pressure again just about overhead on Saturday, it'll be a fantastic, fantastic day. Here's the surface map, that high just to our north on Saturday. So the weekend's looking great. What about the longer range? Here's a look at the upper levels as we go through the longer range. The blue areas here indicating some cooler air masses, the reds, warmer air masses. Next front arrives by Monday. So Sunday is going to be a more seasonable day. We'll get up to 80 or so. And then here's Monday morning, another trough digging into the Great Lakes, cold front pushing through, probably a shower and storm around with that on Monday, especially in the morning hours. And that trough then kind of parks over the Great Lakes for a couple of days. Here's Tuesday. And then here's next Wednesday. It's starting to lift out, but a couple of comfortable, cool August days, middle of next week. After that, I think the pattern's going to try to lock into a pretty warm one for the last few days of August and perhaps the first few days of September. Here's Saturday the 29th, a big ridge trying to set up here across the Mississippi Valley. This would be a pretty warm pattern. A lot of highs in the mid-80s, maybe even upper 80s with this for the last few days of August. Here's September 1st. That ridge shown to kind of weaken a little bit, and well, just for the heck of it, let's look at the very beginning of Labor Day weekend. Here's Friday, the 4th of September, heading into the Labor Day holiday weekend. A little trough on the west coast here, and not much of a feature to really hang our hat on. Middle of the country might be a little above average if current GFS ensemble were to be believed for the final day or two before the holiday weekend. Here's a look at the September outlook on the climate forecast system model, showing above average temperatures for the month as a whole. Therell be some cool days, some warm days. It'll probably average out to be a warmer than average September, and that jives with a typical fall pattern in an El Nino year. A lot of times the fall months, September, October, November, tend to be a little bit mild. Here's the precipitation outlook for September, and if this has the right idea, maybe a little above average. Not a real dark green shown here, but a little green around, so it could be a little above average in terms of rain in September. All right, I've prattled on long enough. Thank you for watching the Wednesday night weather for Weather Geeks. I'll see you with an updated 7-day forecast tonight at 11 and fresh radars as we continue tracking these showers posted on social media throughout the evening. Have a great night.